Hello and welcome to my channel, the Irish Gypsy Psychic Tarot Reader. That's me, the Irish Gypsy. I'm going to be doing general monthly forecasts for each of the 12 zodiac signs for the month of November 2015. I will be using the Gilded Tarot deck as I love the vividness of the color and detail of the imagery in these cards. I will be pulling 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card for the overall theme and general feeling of the month. This is a general reading, so it may not apply the same or resonate as deeply with everyone who watches, although I hope that everyone who sees it gains something from it. So if you're interested in something a little more in-depth than a general reading, I do love to do personal readings for people. So if you click on the About button on my channel's homepage, it'll give you a little more detail about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. That's Maggie, the number 1, McGuire@gmail.com. So for those of you who will be watching and listening and subscribing to my channel, your support and feedback are deeply appreciated and most welcome. So thank you for that. So let's get started. This video is for Libra for the month of November 2015. My apologies about the lateness of getting all the videos out on time. I've been in the middle of moving, the holidays, and switching out my computer, so forgive that. I also apologize ahead of time for any long pauses during the reading. It just means that I'm studying the cards to ascertain the messages and impressions that I get while I'm looking at them. As those of you who read know, sometimes it comes in quickly and clearly, and sometimes it takes a minute or two to put it all together for you. So Libra, what does the month of November 2015 hold for you? Libra, the maiden, the justice seekers of the zodiac. November 2015 for Libra. I do shuffle the cards thoroughly before each and every reading, but I like to go through a last little bit of a shuffle while I'm recording with you. Okay. For the first week, we have the Nine of Pentacles, followed by the Three of Cups. For the second week, we have the Three of Pentacles and the Hanging Man. For the third week, we have the Five of Pentacles with the Page of Pentacles. And for the fourth week, we have the Knight of Swords with the Death card. And for the overall theme or general feeling of the month, I pull a card from the very bottom of the deck, and you have the Judgment card. Well, let's see. Pentacles, Pentacles, Pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4 Pentacles. Half your reading, Libra. If money or some kind of tangible project is not on your mind or present in your life this month, you may want to check your rising and moon sign, because this reading appears to be pretty focused on money, projects, things like that. So let's get started. We begin with the, let's try this over here. Pardon my waving them around. I'm still trying to get the angle right. It's like trying to navigate in a mirror sometimes. We begin with the Nine of Pentacles. Pentacles being the suit of earthly tangible things, typically representing money, finances, resources, assets, property, things of that nature. The Nine of Pentacles, the number 9, also meaning representing attainment, fruition. This depicts a woman who is standing in her garden wearing a beautiful, luxurious gown. She is surrounded by a wealth of abundance, as evidenced by the Tree of Pentacles. The arbor, she's holding a peacock on her hand. There's butterflies and lots of lovely things. This is a woman who has, and I don't necessarily mean a woman if you're a man watching this, it could be either or. This is a person who feels as if they are in a place of abundance and fruition in their life. So perhaps you're coming into the month of November feeling like you are pretty happy with your your environment, your physical environment. You've worked very hard. You've put a lot of time and effort into building something up, whether it's um, your general lifestyle or um, perhaps your job, your career. It's a tangible card. It's a card of abundance, um, and it shows a person who's pretty happy with where they're at. And it is accompanied by the Three of Cards. Sorry, Three of Cups. Now the cups is a suit of the element is water. Um, Cups represent typically emotions, love, relationship, things like that. This card shows three women who are having a lovely time. They're dancing, they're waving their banners around, um, floating in the air above three goblets, which are overspilling into each other. It's a celebratory card. I've often heard this card referred to as the party card, although it really means it means getting together with people that you enjoy being with, the company that you most enjoy being with. It's about taking time and pleasure in the small, maybe the smaller things around you, but basically celebrating good times and good feelings with people that you care about and people that you really love spending time with. So it looks like you're coming into the month of November in a really good place. It looks like you're feeling that your life is pretty well on track. You're happy with where you're at. You've worked really hard to build up something for yourself, a life for yourself that you're content with. And it looks like you're sharing that um, or expressing that in some way with people around you. Perhaps you've reached the, 9 being the number of fruition and attainment. Perhaps you've reached the successful conclusion of a project, or you're in a project with other people that's going really well, and you guys are celebrating. We are headed into the holidays as well too, so that could be a factor as well. As I'm sure you know, there's no definitive beginning and ending to the timeline of the cards. This reading represents the general overall situations or feelings you might be experiencing during the month of November, but this could easily also begin towards the end of October and go into the first bit of December as well. So in the second week, we have the three of Pentacles, another Pentacles card, another tangible earthly sort of card. This card depicts a man who, standing in front of his workshop, a place where he puts in a lot of effort. There are three large pentacles, two large pentacles above him in the air, and he's holding one in his hand with kind of a look of satisfaction on his face. This is a card of working. It's a teamwork card too. It's a card that focuses on people coming together, working on a project for the greater good. It talks about working together on something. Perhaps you're, as the previous week showed, the Three of Cups, perhaps I kind of get the feeling that you're working on something with a group of people. You're working on some kind of project, and because of the amount of pentacles in this reading, it looks like you're involved in some kind of, I don't know if it's a work project or it's something, an entrepreneurial sort of thing that you've begun. Maybe you've begun with a partner or with a group of people. You're coming into the month feeling really good about it. It looks like it's going well. The Three of Pentacles is a good sign when it shows up in a reading of that sort. It means that people are working together on a project. The only downside of the Three of Pentacles would be is if this project is something that this project or investment is something that you're looking to gain specific recognition for, this really isn't the card for that. This card is more about a group of people working together on something. It's accompanied by the Hanging Man. Now, the Hanging Man is a major arcana card. I like to look at the major arcana cards as kind of the fingers of God card, or whatever your spiritual connection might be. And it shows a man who's hanging upside down in what appears to be, sorry, I'll get the angles right one of these days, in what appears to be an awkward, almost uncomfortable sort of position, but he seems to actually be pretty at peace with that. He's hanging there quite content, and no matter what it might look like to other people, he has surrendered to the situation and is comfortable with where he's at. It's interesting that I find this paired with the Three of Pentacles. Um, it's typically a card in other readings I would look at as standing by a decision you've made, even if the people around you don't necessarily support it, or something that you're doing or considering doing might be coming across as strange or risky or something of that sort. It's a card that represents standing in your own truth, being authentic to yourself and to what you know to be right and true for yourself. It's also a card that, in some situations, and I kind of feel like it's pointing to this, that discourages conflict of some kind. It can be a messenger, a harbinger that there might be some kind of um, some kind of group conflict coming up. And as uh, you have a couple of threes which are connected to the hanging man, which also represents groups of people, more than one person. I'm getting the feeling right now that you're coming into the month of November, perhaps this began in October, and you're working on something with a group of people, more than one person, more than just yourself. And you come into the month, or you're starting this project or some kind of maybe investment or something like that, feeling pretty good about it, and everybody's working together. I think this card is encouraging you to, um, if there's any conflict coming up or looks like it's going to be arising within this group of people, um, somebody's trying to oppose something or cause strife of some kind, or there's some kind of problem coming up in this project, this card, I believe, is advising you to not engage in whatever this conflict is, um, to withdraw from it if you can, or maintain some kind of neutral position in this. This card also can mean surrendering gracefully to in a situation, but the feeling I'm getting, Libra, is that there may be a problem coming up with this group, this project, or this. I'm not sure if you're involved in some kind of perhaps community thing with someone else. All this, it seems to me to be based more on money. There's so many pentacle cards here, that some kind of job or some kind of project or investment that you're in. And it looks like you may be running into some kind of conflict, or there might be something where people can't seem to agree or come together on something. And the Hanging Man is advising you strongly, I believe, to not engage in this conflict, that sometimes the most victorious battles are those which don't need to be fought in the first place. Now, in the third week, we have the Five of Pentacles, followed by the Page of Pentacles. Forgive the pause, Libra, I'm just studying the cards. It also occurs to me while I'm looking at the layout of these cards that the Hanging Man is also almost completely surrounded by pentacles. So I feel compelled to give you the message too, that if this is a financial situation or a project which involves your finances, and there's a chance of it in any way, shape, or form, looking like there's going to be some kind of conflict or loss because of it, to try and remain as neutral as possible, which might be difficult if you're actively involved in it. But that's kind of the message I'm getting. So the Five of Pentacles is another pentacle card: money, finances, wealth, resources, assets, property, job. It shows a man and a woman standing out in front of what appears to be a church or some kind of otherwise similar established institution, There's a beautiful stained glass window. There's light shining through it, but they're not really noticing the light. Um, in other tarot decks, I've seen this couple standing outside of a church window, and they're in the rain, they're in the snow. This is a card of, I see primarily as a card of lack. It doesn't necessarily mean there's a physical lack. It could be a fear that you have um, of losing something, of perhaps losing money or something tangible in your life around you. This is a card also of not not seeing something that's right in front of you that could be beneficial, some source of help. As you can see, they're standing in front of um, some kind of organization, some kind of representation, a symbol of help. The light is shining through. It's ready for them if they would just turn around and look at it and reach out and take it. Um, I think what this card is saying in this situation is that there's something in front of you. There's some kind of perhaps conflict or fears about this project or something in your career, something that you are afraid of, and there's some kind of help, answer, or assistance. There's something right in front of you that either you're missing or you're not really willing to look at for whatever reason. And this card is asking you to take another look at doing that, that there's something in front of you, perhaps something that's being offered to you that you're either not seeing or you're not willing to look at closely. Um, and I think this card is also asking you to have faith that you can actually do that. It's accompanied by the Page of Pentacles, another Pentacles card. Um, pages are typically young people. This could represent an actual young person or a child in your life. The Page of Pentacles is, pages could also represent someone in your life who's, if they're not actually young, it could represent someone who's perhaps a bit more on the immature side. Although the Page of Pentacles is the most mature of all the Pentacles. He's a pretty grounded individual. He's depicted in this card as holding up um, a large pentacle. Um, there are signs of abundance in the background. The pentacle is quite large and quite bright. There's a peacock on the railing behind him. And I've often, in wealth and abundance cards, seen this peacock, these beautiful peacocks depicted. So it seems to me to be a symbol of, almost a symbol of luxury. Pages are also messengers. Um, and I actually think that paired with the Five of Pentacles, somewhere in maybe the middle to the last half of this month, um, there's some kind of conflict or crisis or something with the involvement of this project that you're in, or perhaps it's some people that you're working with in your job. Something's coming up where um, there's a snag of some kind, and I think this Five of Pentacles paired with the Page of Pentacles is telling you that there's some aspect of this that you're not looking at. There's some kind of opportunity or solution in front of you that you need to really take a look at. Perhaps somebody actually comes to you, this Page of Pentacles. Perhaps this Page of Pentacles comes and brings you the message that, or is showing you this opportunity, or this Page of Pentacles represents an actual person. It could be an earth sign, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, um, who's saying, look, there's another solution here, or here's another solution, or I have a solution for you. They're offering help of some kind or giving you direction of some kind. And I think the Five of Pentacles is urging you to have faith in that. In the last month, we have the Knight of Swords, followed by the Death card. Don't be afraid. This doesn't represent actual death. I mean, very, very occasionally it does, but I don't believe that that's what it's pointing to in this. It's more of a transformative sort of card. So let's go with the Knight of Swords here. Knights are usually the bringers of something in the tarot. They're usually bringing something to us, and swords are a suit of, it's an intellectual suit. It is the suit that represent thoughts, intellect, logic, ways of thinking, things like that. And they're usually Knights are usually fast moving cards as well. And I think that something's coming to you in this last half of November regarding this project or this community or something that you're a part of, where it looks like there's some kind of conflict going on, uh, where you're being tempted to be drawn into some kind of battle. Um, there's something in front of you you're not paying attention to. And I think the Knight of Swords is echoing the Page of Pentacles in that perhaps it's asking you to, I think it's asking you to take some kind of, typically some kind of action. I think it's asking you that whatever decision you make about this situation, it's something that you probably shouldn't take too much time in deciding on. I think this is asking you to take, I think this reading so far is asking you to take another look at whatever it is the situation you're facing, this conflict is, and perhaps change your perspective a little bit, or the way that you're going about trying to problem solve it isn't working. And I think that there's some kind of message or person bringing you a message or an alternate way of looking at it, um, that the cards are urging you to take and to move on quite quickly. Um, there's something, I'm getting a message, something about changing the way you look at it, changing it from another perspective, which is another echoing message of the Hanging Man as well. It's about taking a step back and looking at it from a completely different perspective than where you were before. You know, maybe you were looking at it upright, maybe you need to take a look at it from the other way. This is the Knight of Swords, swords being the suit of intellect and thought. I think that this situation is calling for you to take another look at it, take a look at it from a different perspective, and to make a decision quite quickly. It's followed, the Knight of Swords is followed by the Death card. And I think that it feels like whatever this project is, whether it's a community-based thing, some kind of association you're involved in where there's some kind of maybe quarreling or quibbling or battle. Perhaps it's something to do with your work or career. Perhaps there's reshuffling going on, or somebody's merging, or you're involved in some kind of entrepreneurial project where you're invested with, a group of people. And I'm getting a very strong impression from looking at these cards, Libra, that this is kind of a big deal. That you're struggling with making a decision about this. Maybe it's a decision whether to continue or not with this project. There is a message coming through with the Hanging Man to try not to involve yourself in as much of the actual fighting as possible. That you need to take a step back and look at this from a completely different perspective. I mean, a completely different perspective. How you're looking at this and how you're going about maybe trying to problem solve this. And that this is something that you probably need to act on sooner rather than later. And that whatever decision you make, it's going to be a very transformative one. You may have to let go of, I think this card is saying you're going to have to let go of some things. Whether it's letting go of this project or letting go of a certain way of thinking about this project, I'm not certain. This is going to mean different things for different people, and it's going to resonate differently for every Libra that watches it. But it looks like whatever decision you make, it's going to be really transformative. It's going to really change your life. And this message is further impacted by the overall, the card that you got for the overall theme and general feeling of the month, which is the Judgment card. Another major arcana card following a major arcana card, the Death card and Judgment. And both of these cards are upright, by the way, so it's almost as if going through a shift of a way of thinking is going to actually kill or annihilate a way of thinking about this situation, or thinking about this project, or the way you think about money. it's going to mean almost a rebirth for you in some way, some way of thinking that you've had that really may have worked for you before, but is not working for you now. And the Judgment card, as an overall theme card, tells me that the month of November, um, this card represents an internal struggle over a decision being made because the Judgment card is it's a major arcana card too. The Judgment card is saying whatever decision you make, this is going to have a finality to it. It's going to have an epic and irreversible impact on your life. Um, as you can see, and the artwork is different in other tarot decks too, but it shows you know, this beautiful woman with this rather imposing looking helmet with wings on it, blowing a horn. Um, it's an impactful card, and that's pretty much what this card is saying, is that you're struggling with something over the month of November, maybe the end of October into December. You're struggling with making a decision over this, whatever this, if this project is, or this career thing, or this financial investment. It's a really big deal, Libra. And judgment, the Judgment card is basically saying that I think it's asking you, this reading is asking you, advising you to move on this sooner rather than later, but to be grounded in how you look at it. Um, that you need to take a step back and look at it from a different perspective, and even let go of perhaps a way of looking, maybe perhaps just let go of how you look at this entirely, or perhaps how you look at the foundation your life is built on, the way that you look at the abundance that you have in your life, the relationship that you have with um, the physical things around you, with money. The death of the death of old ideas, the death of old ways of thinking is what I'm getting when I look at this. That just came into my head. The death of a way of thinking, which represents the rebirth of something else, which always follows death. Rebirth always follows death, Libra. Don't forget that. Um, I know this is coming across as a little bit heavy. It seems like a very dramatic and intense kind of situation that you're facing, Libra. Kind of exciting as well, maybe a little scary, because the Judgment card is saying that whatever decision you make in this, whatever you decide to do, maybe you're thinking of, maybe you're a corporate person, you're coming from a very corporate, abundant sort of lifestyle, and you're thinking of making a complete 180-degree turn in your life. Um, Ping me if you are. I just got a bit of a tingle on that. But that whatever decision you make is going to have a finality in your life. It's going to be absolutely transformative, absolutely life-changing. It's going to mean the death of old ideas and the rebirth of a new way of thinking about, maybe about your life in general. So, Libra, how exciting for you. I'm not really sure what this points to, other than something to do with some kind of tangible money, job, resources, project of some kind. And I'm actually quite curious. So if any of this resonates with you, or that you specifically know what this is referring to, please feel free to comment or email me. I'm quite curious to see how this turns out for you. And I'm excited to continue watching how this journey continues into the month of December with you, Libra. As always, if you would like a more personal reading, you can click on the About button on my channel's homepage, or email me at Maggie1McGuire, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week and seeing what the future continues to hold for you. And as always, I wish you blessings and a happy life. Bye.